What if the only way to fix a broken future is to stop racing against the clock and start listening to the moments you've been too busy to hear? In Time Will Tell, Hannah Bonham Young delivers a speculative women's fiction novel that transforms temporal manipulation into an intimate exploration of regret, presence, and the terrifying vulnerability of accepting that some wounds can't be undone, only integrated. This isn't merely another time travel romance or sci-fi thriller. It's a lyrical, emotionally precise meditation on how we narrate our lives, proving that true healing begins not when we change the past, but when we stop letting it dictate our worth. From the first wistful narration, listeners are immersed in a world where seconds stretch like taffy, and every tick carries the weight of unspoken apologies. Perfect for fans of character-driven speculative fiction and stories where magic serves emotional truth, this audiobook serves up atmospheric wonder, relentless introspection, and a protagonist whose journey from chronological fugitive to embodied self resonates with anyone who's ever wished for more time, only to realize they needed less distraction. When archivist Elara Vance discovers she can slip between temporal layers after her mother's sudden death, she expects closure, not to find herself trapped in echoes of conversations she never finished and choices she can't unmake. But as Elara navigates fractured timelines and the ghostly residue of her own avoidance, she realizes this ability isn't a gift. It's a mirror reflecting how she spent decades curating memories instead of living them. Bonham Young masterfully avoids reducing time travel to plot device or Elara to grieving daughter trope. Instead, she crafts a narrative where temporality becomes metaphor for emotional processing, where consent is negotiated with memory itself, and where liberation requires releasing the fantasy of perfect revision. The audiobook narration amplifies this psychological vertigo, capturing Elara's disciplined detachment fracturing into raw presence, while secondary voices shift subtly across eras, making every temporal echo feel like both comfort and confrontation. You don't just hear the slips unfold, you feel the seismic shift of a woman learning that time isn't something to conquer, but something to inhabit. What elevates Time Will Tell beyond typical speculative fare is its nuanced portrayal of grief as non-linear archaeology rather than linear progression. Elara isn't merely revisiting moments, she's confronting how her archival instincts turned love into curation, challenging the notion that preservation equals care. Her relationship with time evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silence with echoes that bypass performance, setting boundaries that honor both memory and present moment sensation, and protecting her living relationships from the seduction of endless revision. Supporting characters shine with uncomfortable authenticity, colleagues whose efficiency masks emotional avoidance, friends whose patience tests her isolation, even the archive itself, rendered as both sanctuary and prison, whose catalogs absorb centuries of deferred feeling. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In lives shaped by loss, presence is resistance, and attention is the only true legacy. Even the temporal mechanics serve thematic depth, with slippage mirroring dissociation, and anchoring becoming metaphor for embodied awareness. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into temporal intimacy. The narrator embodies Elara's evolving perspective with remarkable range, from clinical precision to trembling receptivity, while supporting characters are distinguished through vocal textures that hint at era without caricature. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion, distant clock ticks marking emotional transitions, rain against library windows during confessions, the hushed rustle of paper syncing with breath during moments of clarity, all ground mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the rhythm of temporal processing, deliberate during reflection and integration, then surging with urgency as external deadlines collide with internal breakthroughs. Whether you're commuting through linear hours or sitting in twilight stillness, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and now feels enough. It's storytelling as embodied mindfulness, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where time heals not by rewinding, but by deepening. Ultimately, Time Will Tell redefines speculative women's fiction by centering female embodiment within temporal frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for atmospheric wonder and emotional payoff, while delivering substantive commentary on grief culture, productivity trauma, and the radical act of choosing presence over perfection. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether second chances require erasing first mistakes, or if true peace lies in acceptance rather than correction, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful moment is the one you stop trying to fix. Press play, set down the stopwatch, and prepare to believe that even in lives shaped by absence, hearts still find ways to arrive. Your next favorite speculative tale isn't waiting in rewritten histories, it's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to be here,